I'm tired of being what you want me to be. So faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me, but under the pressure of walking in your shoes, every step that I take is another mistake to you. I'm just calling you to tell.
Good evening. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. All right. Good evening. Welcome, guys. It has been, let me get the recording started. Okay. It's been an insane day. Had one of my boys that just got a new car, senior in high school, I think he's had the car 3-4 weeks, just completely totaled the car and just killed it, dead and done. So anyway, he's good. He's in good health, safe from the accident. That's all that matters. But anyway, so just a long afternoon with all that going on. Let's get started here, guys. And tonight I'm not going to really tear into the comments at the end. I got too much crap going on personally around outside this. I want to get you guys the critical information you need to know where the hell you're at with your Iraq dinar. Let's get going here, guys. Okay. One thing I want you guys to think about. This is just a quick, simple opinion. May or may not apply. Again, just something to think about. It's just something that crossed my mind. May or may not have validity. Don't know. But I thought it's kind of unique, so I thought I would share it with you. So we know that those of you that have time in this, I have 17 years in, okay? Those of us that have time, you're lucky to see an article talking about deleting the zeros. You're lucky to see one or two of the deleting the zeros articles per year. Again, one or two deleting the zeros articles per year. We have seen roughly since 2 Sundays ago, August 15th, I think on that day alone, there was like 10 to 15 articles in one day. Okay. Ever since, there's been one or two today, one or two of those articles like every other day since 2 Sundays ago on the 15th. As of today, there was another like roughly 5 or 6 I've posted in my private group of Substack. Okay. Here's why I bring this up to you. Normally when they post articles tremendously or post a lot of them, a significant, tremendous amounts of them, it's because they're getting ready to do that. That's why. Okay. Now here's the significant part. Again, this may or may not have any credibility. Treat it as an opinion if that works best for you. Normally when they start preparations for a major event, the average is usually 30 days out. Okay. Or an approximate 30 days. Okay. The bulk of these articles talking about deleting the zeros came out 2 Sundays ago as of August 15th. 20 days to that would take you kind of like we talked about to around mid-September. The best thing you could use as a gauge on that, okay, would be the completion of the cabinet. And that's kind of why I've been suggesting to you guys, we want to look for the cabinet to kind of wrap up or start to near completion maybe around the middle of September. You know that's the number one thing to look for to guide you, walk you to that finish line. But again, I'm just kind of showing you here another perspective, 30-day out potential preparation step on the deletion of the zeros, which really the boatload or majority of those articles, plethora of them, started as of August 15th. Something to think about. Let's tear into this, okay? Iraq's 2027 budget bill set for a September parliamentary submission. Let's look at this real quick. Again, it talks about sending 14.1% to Kurdistan region. I was trying to see. Basically, though, in this one, because we saw Thursday of last week where they said they might be sending the budget to Parliament for approval roughly in early October. Here, they're saying they might do it possibly sometime in September. If they did, it might be late September, second half of September. Okay, let's see what happens. But something to think about here, how they're talking about possibly submitting the budget to Parliament for approval possibly in September. If they did, my guess would be somewhere around the second half. Okay, unique article though. Next article here. Iraqi Finance Committee recommends postponing Dinar redenomination vote. Okay. Again, the redenomination is the same thing as deletion of the zeros. Notice how this came forward a plethora of articles 2 Sundays ago on the 15th. Okay. Right here, Iraqi Finance Committee officially advises delaying the vote on removing the zeros. Again, this is it's basically a type of law that has to be approved, okay? And at the end of the day, they're basically telling you this law that needs to be approved, or not amended but approved, it would be sensitive to the currency revaluing, okay? So basically, the rate would need to change. That's why here it says a vote on removing the zeros. That would literally occur when the rate has changed. So when the rate changes, that's when it would go to vote and so forth. Okay. So, want you guys just to be aware of that. Okay. But regardless, I want you to notice how there's boatloads of articles, period, and has been since 2 Sundays ago, roughly 2 weeks ago. Okay. That's the significant. We were lucky in the past, those of you that have significant time in this, we were lucky in the past to see 1 or 2 articles per year talking about deleting the zeros. Okay. So that in itself is a significant step there. Hold on, guys. I was just reading a quick comment. All right, let's get on to this. Let's go here. So Iraqi Finance Committee recommends postponing the vote on the dinar. They're not going to postpone it, guys. The vote on it is just going to happen after the rate is changed. So they're trying to make you think from one, again, they talk to you out of both sides of their mouth. From one side, they're trying to say, oh, we're going to do it. From the other side, no, we probably should postpone the vote. At the end of the day, it's very simply contingent upon the rate changing. That's where it stands. That's where it's positioned. Okay. Iraq to introduce new banknotes with 3 zeros removed. Okay. Again, that's the whole step that needs the redenomination that needs to be voted on. Significant articles talking about this, okay? And they're trying to tell you a 1,000 dinar bill becomes a one dinar, blah, blah, blah. The perception of some certain other content creators out there might give you a perception that this is very bad information. It's not. This is a step that absolutely requires the rate to change. And if you understand, they can do one of two things. They can add or remove zeros. Depending on what they do is fully dependent on where that country's inflation levels are. If they have balanced lower inflation, they remove zeros. Okay, if they have elevated inflation or hyperinflation, they're adding zeros, which will devalue the currency because, again, removing the zeros strengthens the value of the currency. Very simple, okay? It's a very good step if you understand these basic economics, and that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. It's very good information, okay? Next article here. Again, there's a few of them today talking about deleting the zeros. Lawmaker, Iraq plans dinar redenomination, but law still waits approval. Again, the law gets approved after the rates change. It's that simple. That's when it goes to parliamentary vote, okay? So we can look at the article real quick. And again, if you guys ever want to read any of these articles, I know I may not show you. Again, these are all posted on the forum. You can see them as clear as day. Anyway, good stuff here. Okay, Iraq PM says coalition forces to withdraw from Iraq on September 30th. I had a question on this today. The person had asked, they're like, hey, when do they have to kind of be paid by? Well, it'd be by what the agreed upon date of leaving is right here. It says right here, will withdraw from Iraq on September 30th. That's the agreed upon date. So even if the troops are out early, that's irrelevant, doesn't matter. That's the agreed upon date right there. So that's when basically Iraq has to revalue by that date. It's very simple right there. That was the agreed upon date. That's why they have that date in place. All international oil companies have resumed operations in Kurdistan, and a breakthrough is expected to reduce gasoline prices. Not real critical for our Dinar studies. Exclusive to Kurdistan, 24, U.S. pressure on Baghdad to expedite the removal of the zeros from the dinar to curb money laundering. Okay. In this article here, it says U.S. diplomatic financial pressure. Sources report that the United States is actively pushing the Iraqi government to accelerate the removal of the zeros project, clamp down on foreign money smuggling, illicit cash hoarding, and so forth. Okay. Invalidation of old denominations and so forth. Okay. And I even showed you guys an article over the weekend. It was Saturday or Sunday, where they literally said that deleting the zeros, what that's going to do is it's going to basically reduce Iraq's money supply. That's what I told you guys. Because it talked about money within the banks and outside of the banks. Outside the banks literally meant outside the country. And I told you how the central bank doesn't care about M0 money outside the country. It can't be used for anything. It has no purpose outside the country. Zero purpose, can't be used for one thing. That's why they don't care. It's only going to be used for Basel III compliance. That's it. That's why they have such a large money supply right now, is for countries to asset back their currency, nothing more. So yeah, we talked about that. All right, Iraq plans to remove zeros from the dinar. Removing zeros from the currency is a worthless step unless the Iraqi dinar is pegged to the dollar. Guys, it could be pegged to a basket. And you know something interesting? You know what? I want you guys to think about this because Kuwait's already done all this. All right? The Kuwait is not pegged. Kuwait's pegged to a basket. But it's actually pegged to a secret basket, believe it or not. It's not a standard basket. It's a secret one. That's why it has such a high value. And you know when it changed? Back when we had the 2007-8 real estate recession in the United States, Kuwait was only pegged exclusively by itself just to the US dollar. Okay. Well, I think in 07 is when the dollar devalued. Again, we had a recession. So Kuwait unpegged from the dollar, went to a secret basket, and that's when they got such a high value. Now, in the secret basket, the dollar is part of that. But there's other strong currencies in there as well. The euro, maybe the Japanese yen, the British pound is in there. Anyway, so, but that's, yeah, it's stupid. As a country, you don't want to stay pegged to one currency exclusively. You want to be more to like a basket. When that's why one of the reasons why Kuwait has the highest valued currency in the world presently today. Okay, Iraq to slash 3 zeros from currency, introduce new notes. Again, there's countless articles on this today. And that's one thing I wanted you guys to realize is since 2 Sundays ago, August 15th, I wanted you to realize the timing, because again, I've trained you guys on budget periods and when budgets come forward, because Iraq now has a budget that they haven't paid salaries for 2 months from. July, August. Think about that. And I was the only content creator to catch that, and I brought it and shared it with you guys about 2 months ago. And look, I said, this is what we need to watch. I got a lot of flack for it from a lot of people that just don't know how to think too well. They're like, oh no, the salaries are going to get paid. And I'm like, no, they're not. And I scored on that. The salaries did not get paid. And right now we're in a great position. And then I have another article that when we get to it, I'm going to show it to you guys. It even overlaps with the salaries. And I am the only content creator to even catch this, and I'll share it with you. It's going to be more towards the end of the video. When we reach it, I'll share it with you guys. Right, here's one from kind of more the angle of the central bank, talking about how salaries remain unpaid. Okay, good article there. Hold on here. On September 30th, sovereignty will be established over all the sacred Iraqi land. Yeah, because they'll be in control of everything. Troops will be gone. They'll most likely have the currency revalued and all that good stuff. So yeah, they'll be super happy. Okay, state of law, we submitted candidates for interior higher education. Now right here, they actually have, because I have one person that keeps saying, goes, oh, look, I told you there's 2 positions. No, there's 3 that are still pending. Okay. It's interior, defense, and higher education are the 3 ministry positions that are still have remained unagreed upon. But they're saying right now that candidates might have been submitted for reaching like nominees or reaching political agreements on nominees for those positions. We'll have to see and give it a little time. Because Iraq, all that Iraq's done through the whole month of August is lie to us, literally. Okay. And right now, they finally put out some news this morning, clearly revealing to you that completing the cabinet is going to pretty much walk you into September. Okay. So after the state law submitted the names of its candidates, will PMZ's cabinet succeed in breaking the deadlock? Guys, right here. It says right here, noting that the vote on the cabinet is expected to take place in the middle of next week. Be very careful. Be very careful agreeing or favoring and liking this date right here of next week. I don't think it's going to happen. I would not lock in on that date. I'm just being honest as I can, so you don't lock in on this date and say, oh my gosh, the middle of next week came and went. We don't have, yeah, okay. That's not a time period I would lock in on. Again, I would just be more on a generic level, say we're probably not going to see anything on the cabinet, real dates, more accurate information probably until about the middle of this month of September. Okay, give this a little patience because all that Iraq has done through the whole month of August is lie to you. Even see like late July, they came out telling you in late July and very beginning of August, oh, we're gonna do the vote on the cabinet around the middle of August. Did it ever happen? Nope. None of the dates they ever gave even happened. Okay. So anyway, let's see what happened here. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry, my phone is just blowing up right now, and we just got to see what happens. All right, sorry guys. My mind has 50,000 things passing through it right now. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go to the next article. So again, they're saying possibly vote on the cabinet middle of next week. Again, I would not lock in on that date. Government is preparing and Parliament is awaiting the 2027 budget faces a crucial financial test. Okay. Iraqi government is finalizing the 27 federal draft budget for submission to the Ministerial Council for the economy in September, followed by cabinet approval and refer to Parliament before mid-October. So again, here they're kind of saying more. This would be the second article kind of saying early October to be sent to Parliament for approval. Okay, so again, I would probably stick to more of around October for budget approval. Okay, that's more fair and accurate because that's now the second article telling us that. All right, hold on here. Let's see what else there is. Okay, so salaries remain unpaid. September 30th, they're going to be fully sovereign. We submitted candidates for Interior Higher Education Ministries. Okay, left the final choice to the Prime Minister. Again, we'll have to see what plays out with the cabinet. Breaking the deadlock. The government is preparing Parliament. Yeah, sorry guys, my mind just all over the board, guys, right now. Just bear with me here. Okay, here we go. This is one that, again, this one's right here saying the cabinet will be completed within 2 weeks. I would be, within 2 weeks, that's this week, the last week of August, and then next week by September 5th, right there. Again, guys, I don't want you guys to get on an emotional roller coaster. Iraq lies to you a lot. And they've lied all through August with dates and everything. I would be careful locking in on a 2-week time period for the cabinet. Again, just being as honest and as respectful to you as I can. Okay. Again, news is more suggestive closer to possibly the middle of September on this. Okay. So just again, be careful with what you lock in on. Okay. But regardless, I wanted to show you that the news is at least walking you into September for completing the cabinet. A breakthrough is expected for Ziddy's cabinet. Parliament awaits the names of the candidates for 9 ministerial portfolios. Again, I told you 9 are pending remaining, but supposedly 6 out of 9 have been agreed upon, and there's 3 pending remaining. Okay. Let's see if there's any. Okay, in this one, it says roughly a 2-week timeline to complete the cabinet. 9 vacant ministerial portfolios, and there's some other items in there. Not a huge big concern. Reconstruction and development agreement between the framework and the government to return the popular mobilization forward. They're saying in this one they talked about that the PMF salary pension law, they're trying to get it to Parliament for approval within a few weeks. Again, it's going to most likely be around the middle of September on that, closer to when they're going to complete the cabinet, change the rate, all that, because that's a rate change dependent law. Hold on here, trying to see if there was another one I wanted to show you guys before I bounce here. Budget represents a critical phase. Hold on. There was an article talking about Iraq's salary pay scales. That's what I was telling you. There's not one other content creator has identified that, brought it up to you guys or anything, and I wanted to touch on that. Okay. Let's see here. Bear with me, guys. That's really the last one I wanted you to see here. So, hold on. That's 13 hours. Okay. It was from this. Okay. This is from yesterday. Yeah, these are from yesterday. Bear with me, guys. I kind of wanted you to see this. It literally talked about, where was this at? It was talking about Iraq's anyway, here's what it is. I'm just going to give you guys the rundown while I'm looking for here. So Iraq, during the first half of this year, there were numerous articles talking about how it's saying Iraq needed to adjust their salary pay scale. Okay. Now, if Iraq's about to change their rate, that's when changing the pay scale would come into effect and need to be amended, adjusted. Why? Because it's based on the pay scale is based on what the currency value is. If the currency values change, the pay scale, salary pay scales have to change. Okay, that is what I wanted to. That's what I wanted you guys to see. Okay, was that right there? Because and there was again. It's been a long time. It's been months since we've seen any articles talking about the salary pay scales. And that was kind of what I wanted you guys to see. And I know for sure I found it and brought it forward this morning. I just don't know where it's at right here. Okay, it's not this one. I was just going to go through a few of these. It's not Emirates, so Talibani, former 27 budget, critical phase. Hold on. Yeah, that's submitting the PMF bill. Federal court, borders surpass Iranian. We don't care about the Iranian rial. Parliament finance hosts the governor of the central bank. Okay, here we go. Right here. Here we go, guys. All right. Parliamentary and finance. Right. It's a short article. Committee hosts the governor of the central bank to discuss the salary crisis, liquidity, exchange rate. Yep. So right there. So the Parliamentary Finance Committee hosts the governor of the central bank to discuss the salary crisis, liquidity, exchange rate. Anyway. So good stuff there. And they even mentioned exchange rate in that. Very unique in there, okay? Now, one of the things that I've been telling you guys for months is what you want to pay attention to is when you see the most significant movement of money and money-related matters, that's about the time at which the rate's going to change. Is the biggest focus, emphasis on money-related matters. That's when the rate's going to change, is around that period. And you have it right now. Okay, back in mid-July, 13th through the 18th, you had PMZ come here. You had him score with all these different countries, such as the United States, $200 billion in energy agreements, okay? That's pretty much going to fund Iraq's entire 2027 budget by itself, just energy money right from the United States. And then you got all that extra money from other countries for extra related matters, okay? Then you have all these other laws, like all the significant articles talking about deleting the zeros, okay? Salary and pension laws that have to do with the PMF, okay? You have, and then like new taxes, they said domestic taxes get implemented September 1st, and that is not a rate change sensitive law or item. Then you have with Kurdistan, you have their their location port and border taxes for Kurdistan going into effect on 10/1. Those are international taxes. Okay. Lots of good critical stuff here. Look at the timing. And then around all that, you have the troops that are scheduled to be out and gone as of September 30th. Now, I want you to think about one thing that I think is important in this. This rate change could have been planned and strategized possibly for a period of 2 years, at least since maybe around September of 2024. Here's how I'm gathering that data. Okay. That's when they came out telling us it was around September of 24. Here's what they told us. In September of 24, they said majority and bulk of U.S. troops will be out by September of 25. And then they said the last remaining up to no more than 500 U.S. troops and equipment will be out of the country as of September of 26. So if they knew that data 2 years ago, there's a possibility they've had the rate change planned and strategized for the last 2 years. Okay, just wanted you to be aware of that. Something to think about. I think that's really the bulk of everything right here. And hold on, guys. I'm just blasting through it here. I just have so much on my mind right now. It's been one heck of a day. That, I think, is it, guys, right there. Yeah. Anyway, as the gears move forward, the big things from today, Iraq's already shown us that they're walking us into September with completing the cabinet, but I kind of brought you guys that, I don't know, I think it was around late last week, Wednesday, Thursday of last week is when I really brought that to you guys. I could just already tell they were shifting gears, moving that direction. So, hold on, guys. Let me see if there's any... let me see if there's anything I just want to look at. I'm not going to tear into all the, what do you call it, all the comments. Hold on here. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to see if there's... Hold on, we'll look at the last one. Okay, so with the article having the exchange rate in it, and it takes about 30 days from the line, from the start of the topic being brought up, then that puts the rate change happening between September 20th and 25th. Guys, I'm not here to give rate change dates. I'll gladly, if you're with me, if you're with me over on Substack, I'm an open book in there. I tell everybody my real inner thoughts. I don't hide anything from my Substack group. They can ask me anything anytime they want. I'm an open book. And the cool thing is, guys, I have the best group of people you could have over on Substack. They are the kindest people. They'll reach out and help anyone. Many of them have been with me for a very long time, and I thank them for that. There's a chat room over there. They'll even go in there and say, hey, they'll post a question saying, when do you guys think the might rate change, just to check the temperature with their peers in there. Okay, it's an open book. There's nobody in there micromanaging them. And they love it in there. Many of them are glad they came over, and they're like, so anyway, it is what it is, but it's great. It's a really great community over there. So you guys all do what's best for you. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful evening. I've got to bounce. I've got too much going on in the background right now. My head's just on turbocharged right now. So love all you guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care. And best of luck to all you guys. Have a great evening. Thank you.